Karim, what I'm saying is you can't keep discriminating against some people in the briefing room because you don't like them, you don't like them.
So you have a choice.
No,
You have a choice. You have a choice.
A number of people
Okay.
in the briefing room, and I'm saying that that's not right. This is not China. This is not Russia. This is the United States. This is the White House. It's been 7 months. I sent you emails.
The rest of us are here too, pal.
It's been 7 months. You guys have not done anything for me.
If you have grievances, you should bring them to her later.
I have
right
done
now,
that.
This is
I've
for the
done that.
entire
All my
press
emails
corps,
have been
and the
ignored.
press corps is tired of dealing with this.
It isn't
I've
just
done
about
that.
you,
I
Simon.
understand that you get questioned all the time and you don't understand what it is to sit here for 8 months and being discriminated against. I understand that you're in the front row and you feel comfortable and you get questioned all the time. But there are people in the back who don't get any questions.
Don't make assumptions about what the rest of us do. Mind your manners when you're in here. If you have a problem, you bring it up afterwards. But you are impinging on everybody in here who's only trying to do their job.
Okay, thank you. I'm saying that you shouldn't discriminate against some people because you don't agree with their question, you're offended by your
You made your
question.
point.
We all heard it.
So what you just watched is a situation that has continued to devolve in the White House press briefing. The guy you just heard that has not been able to ask a question to the press secretary in 7 months, his name is Simon Ateba. Now, Simon Ateba is a reporter for an outlet called Africa News Today. He is a reporter from Africa that has come here to the United States to cover our White House. Unfortunately for him, for Simon, he found out that whole pesky freedom of speech and that freedom of the press, it's not all it's cracked up to be. At least it's not what he's told, or he was told that it was, because he's getting absolutely none of it. This guy is, in fact, being discriminated against, and you heard in that clip, he just asked a simple question. He's like, this isn't Russia. This isn't China. Why am I being treated this way simply because I'm trying to ask a normal question that the American people would want an answer to? That's all he's doing. He's actually doing the job that everybody in that press briefing room is supposed to do. And that's why you heard in the background these mealy-mouthed reporters getting so upset with Simon, because he's doing their job. Now, it's odd to see these people getting upset for someone not following the decorum or the norms of the press briefing room, because we just left out of 4 years of an entire press corps having daily meltdowns and temper tantrums during the Trump administration. I don't know if you can remember that far back, but there was some pretty absurd questioning and people pitching a fit every time a Trump press secretary took to the podium. Every time, especially when it came to Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Listen to this line of questioning that they would give day in and day out.
I wanted to ask you about the women who came forward today against the president. They first were on a television show, and then they were at a press conference, and they said that he should resign, and then also that there should be a congressional investigation. And I know that you said that this has already been litigated in the last election, but I wanted to get your specific reaction to this idea that there should be a congressional investigation into this.
Look, the president has addressed these accusations directly and denied all of these allegations. We feel like these allegations have been answered.
Own accusers, though. He has accusers as well.
Look, the president has firsthand knowledge on what he did and didn't do. He can speak directly to those, and he has, and he's addressed them. And I don't have anything further to add.
Will you
Trey?
ask the American public about this, because this is spinning and it's focused on him now.
And he's addressed it directly to the American
but
people.
It's
Trey?
coming up new and afresh, and more people are now speaking out.
April, I'm going to keep moving.
I understand,
I'm
but
trying to
will the
cover as many of your
president
colleagues
address the nation
today.
on this? This is a huge issue, Sarah.
The president told Howard Stern in 2005 that he had walked into a teen beauty pageant dressing room where he said that teen contestants had no clothes on because he could sort of get away with things like that. Is that not an admission of sexual harassment?
Look, the president's spoken about this directly. I don't have anything further to add on the process.
Two questions. Who are the eyewitnesses who dispute these allegations against the president? And can you stand here right now and say without a doubt 100% certainty that the more than dozen women who have come forward to accuse this president of misconduct are lying. Do you wrestle with this personally at all?
Do you wrestle with this personally? Let's get into your personal life, your personal views. I know you're representing the president and you're answering questions on behalf of him, but let's talk about your personal convictions. Did you know Donald Trump talked to Howard Stern back in the early 2000s? Oh, my God. This was day in and day out. And make no mistake, the press, the press corps at the White House, they knew no lows. There was no low too low for this particular press corps. Their job was to be activists, not journalists. Their job was to get a sound clip for their respective station, mostly CNN and MSNBC, so they could turn around and then mock the Trump administration. One of those lows came in the form of a child who was allowed to go to the press briefing room, and he got to ask Sarah Huckabee Sanders a question. And that question was what the Trump administration is going to do about school safety, because he, as well as other kids, are scared to go to school because they're afraid of school shootings. Now, when you hear this question, it will become painfully obvious that this kid did not write this question himself. He was set up to do this. And it was all in an attempt to make the Trump administration look bad and look as if they don't care about kids. They don't care about school safety. They're pro-school shooting. Listen to this.
We recently had a lockdown zone. One thing that affects mine and other students' mental health is to worry about the fact that we or our friends could get shot at school. Specifically, can you tell me what the administration has done and will do to prevent these senseless tragedies?
I think that as a kid and certainly as a parent, there is nothing that could be more terrifying for a kid to go to school and not feel safe. So I'm sorry that you feel that way. This administration takes it seriously, and the School Safety Commission that the president convened.
You can hear the conviction in her voice. You can hear the concern for this boy and what he says is his mental health and really all children. Something that you don't see nowadays coming from the White House press briefing. You don't see a lot of emotion. You don't see any heart coming out of this current administration because there is none. There is no compassion. There is no love and affection or compassion for anybody, whether it's kids or it's migrants that are being trafficked and raped and killed across the border because of our inaction. They have no compassion for anybody. They have compassion for themselves. They have a desire to make sure they can stay in power. But you don't see that coming out of this administration. It's a stark difference. And the other stark difference is the fact that Simon from Africa News Today is coming to our country and showing us what journalists are supposed to do, showing us what our press should be doing that they're not doing. And he is being ridiculed by his peers for it. This happened yesterday. They had the cast of Ted Lasso or some stupid show at the White House press briefing as a guest in order to talk about mental health. No, they didn't have doctors. They didn't have professionals. They brought in actors to talk about mental health. And Simon, yet again, 7 months down the road, is like, why can't I ask a question? Here's how that happened yesterday.
Yeah, right. You're right. You're here for me. Refer me. No. No, that's not. We're not doing this. We're not doing this. We're not doing this. We're not doing this.
From across the room. You've been discriminating against me and discriminating against some people in the briefing room. And I'm saying that this is the U.S., this is not China, this is not Russia. This is not Russia.
Okay.
What you are doing, you are making a mockery of the First Amendment.
Decorum, please.
It's been 7 months. You've not called on me. You've not my messages. I'm saying that that's not right. That's not right.
Fun times. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Welcome to the press briefing room. Okay.
This is not right. Sir, let it go.
Are we ready? Are we going to behave? While many folks...
Decorum,
please. Simon.
Decorum, please. Decorum. Where was all that decorum between 2016 and 2020? Because decorum was absolutely out the window. Are we going to behave now? Are we going to be like she's a first grade teacher? Are we going to behave? These people are disgusting, and they have no shame. I would say they don't have any self-awareness, but that's probably a little too generous. And so what has been the result of all this? Well, it's exactly what you would expect. Simon is now being ridiculed in the media for, again, doing what the media is supposed to be doing. He's doing their job. They're mad about it because they look like a bunch of idiots. Here's the Yentas from The View talking about Simon.
So, I mean, this may be one of the reasons, because he does this all the time. This may be one of the reasons she doesn't call on him, because he can be combative. But is he a troll, or does he have a point about being ignored at the briefings? Now, I know she doesn't decide who sits there, but she does decide who to call on.
I don't think he's a serious guy. In 2013, he wrote an open letter on his blog to Nigerian actors saying that a topless scene she was in was offensive because, quote, "you are really not attractive." Okay. Unquote. He's not a serious journalist.
Well, he
ran to Tucker Carlson right after this, so that tells you where he's at.
Well, I was going to comment that the sexism ran rampant in that interview because I watched it back, and he starts to say, she doesn't have to marry me or have babies with me or do it. And I'm like, what does that have to do with anything? This is a professional woman, and you are literally filibustering through.
Oh, he's sexist. He's a sexist. Everybody I don't like is sexist. That old gag. These people, again, have no shame whatsoever. Simon, you keep it up, buddy. You're doing the Lord's work out there, doing the job that the media should be doing. They should be absolutely ashamed of themselves. I'm Andrew McClain, Talk 99.5 WZRR. Don't forget to check out the Over the Line podcast, available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And until next time, see you, cuz.